We got some breaking news, champs, and the whole boxing world wants to know when Gervonta Tank Davis' next opponent and the date's gonna be. Well, we already kind of knew that Tank Davis had his eyes set for the Jose El Rayo Valenzuela fight, but El Rayo is not ready as he barely had a fight with none other than Pitbull Cruz. He defeated Pitbull Cruz very easily, and Tank Davis before that was gonna fight Pitbull Cruz, or he wanted to fight Pitbull Cruz for a rematch, because I guess Pitbull Cruz is the only opponent that Gervonta Tank Davis hasn't been able to knock out. I know he didn't knock out a few other opponents, but that was his past, because I think it was early in his career and they didn't give him that many rounds to finish his opponent. I believe that's the reason he wasn't able to stop those opponents. So since we all knew Tank Davis's team wanted El Rayo, and the fight's not gonna happen because we thought it was gonna happen with El Rayo. So now his team contacted Lamont Roach for a mega showdown fight. And now they do have a common opponent in Jose Luis Garcia, or no, Hector Luis Garcia. I'm sorry, my bad. So they do have both have a common opponent, and they both defeated Jose Luis Garcia. Hector Luis Garcia. I'm sorry, why do I keep messing that up? Well, they both defeated him, and they could build a fight off of that. And not just that, El Rayo Valenzuela did not say no to the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Who's gonna say no? But he did just fight Pitbull Cruz. But what we did not know, that fight had a rematch clause. And El Rayo Valenzuela comes out in an interview and says that he is just waiting to fight that fight because they do have a rematch clause, and he is just waiting for the contract and the date. So El Rayo is gonna be fighting Pitbull Cruz again, which I think he's gonna be able to defeat him exactly the same way as he did the first time. Well, not exactly the same way, because I'm pretty sure they're both gonna be coming in with a little bit different game plan. But the thing about that is that Lamont Roach does have a mandatory. Now, Tank's team is gonna have to pay step aside money to Lamont Roach's mandatory. Then they could have the fight because he has to take that mandatory. But I'm pretty sure that Tank Davis's team is able to afford to pay step aside money to whoever Lamont Roach's opponent is. I forgot his name. I don't want to say it. I don't want to mess it up. Now, I personally don't think anybody can beat Tank Davis, not even Lamont Roach. I think he's 25-1. He did lose one time, but I mean, this is Tank Davis we're talking about. He's not going to be able to beat Tank Davis. Nobody can. The only person that I give any chance to beat Tank Davis is Teofimo Lopez. And Shakur Stevenson maybe, but he needs to change his style, because if he does fight Tank, I think that fight is going to be very boring. Shakur does not like to engage, and Tank Davis downloads his opponents to see how they are so that he can figure out a way to knock him out. So what is going to happen, the same thing. Shakur is not going to engage, and Tank Davis is not going to engage first because he's supposed to download his opponents. So I think the first half of that fight is going to be extremely boring, and Tank Davis is going to come out of his shell and try to engage first because he needs to make the fight exciting. Personally, I don't think Shakur Stevenson should take any fights until he heals his hands, because it seems that he always has hand injuries. And he had both of his fights with Edwin de los Santos, and what was his last fight against Artem Haratunian. I think his hands was a little bit better on that fight, but I mean, this guy needs to heal his hands before he does take any fights. Imagine that happened on the Gervonta Tank Davis fight.
Here's your deal. I hurt my hand. Bitch.
I used to think that Shakur Stevenson can outbox Gervonta Tank Davis. I really don't think so anymore, because he is not even trying to box anybody. He's just trying to get away from the punches. The name of the game is hit and don't get hit. It's not don't get hit and don't hit back. He's just trying to evade. But as we all know, this is boxing. One punch could change the whole outcome of the fight. Somebody could be winning 11 rounds and in the 12th round, he gets knocked out and gets clipped. But I mean, the only person that can knock out Tank Davis is Teofimo Lopez. I don't think Shakur Stevenson will engage enough or has the power to knock out Tank. But I mean, look at Manny Pacquiao. Anybody can get knocked out. And also, I don't really think we've seen the best of Tank Davis, especially since the Gervonta Tank Davis and the Devin Haney sparring session was leaked. Man, you see all the skills in Tank Davis on that fight. He was putting work on Devin Haney. And I really do think that he showed a lot of skills in there, and no one's been able to bring down those skills from Tank Davis. Yeah, because Tank Davis does fight different according to his opponents. I'm pretty sure every boxer is like that, but every time I see Tank fight, he is always different. It's never the same style. And I got a lot of respect for Tank. I'm a huge Tank Davis fan. I wasn't before, I'm not gonna lie, but I am now.
Let's go, champ!